demonstrating our Block 6 youth curriculum. We're going to get started with our takedown this cycle, which is the Ouchi. It's the major hip throw. So we're going to start. I like all kids before they do this throw to make sure that both kids are ready for what's about to happen. We always slap and bump. I never want one kid to be going for a slap as one kid enters for the throw, because this person needs to be prepared for the fall that they're about to take. So we slap bump, and I want everyone throwing on the same side. So we're going to use our left hand, and we're going to grab the wrist of our partner. So my left hand just reaches straight across and grabs his wrist. Now, this hand is going to swim in for an underhook. So I'm going to dive my hand in underneath his arm, and I'm going to come out to this side position. We call this position the T position. I've got 1 foot in front of him and 1 foot behind him, and I'm connecting my hip to his hip. I still have his wrist. For the little kids, I also call this side hug. That just helps them remember. I don't like it when kids have their hands too high. I like it to go right around the waist. From this T position, we're going to enter for our throw. So my back leg is going to swim in front, and I want to make sure that I place both of my feet on the inside of his feet. Now, my heels are going to be together, my toes facing out. That's our entry. Slap, bump. I grab his wrist, I swim my arm through, I get to the T position, and then I'm going to bring this back leg in front, and then followed by my second leg, and I'm going to move my hips in front of his hips. My knees are bent, and to finish this throw, I will straighten my legs. Slap, bump, grab, swim in, come to our T position, step, step, my knees are going to bend, and then when I straighten, that would be the throw. I'm going to have Mr. Brian demonstrate the throw. We are teaching students how to break fall this cycle so that this throw is not going to take a toll on their bodies. So that is the Ouchi hip throw takedown that we'll be practicing the entire cycle. Okay, so this is going to be the yellow and orange belt ground techniques. This cycle we are learning submissions from guard and their defenses. So Mr. Bryant is going to be in my close guard. My legs are locked in the beginning, and typically when we're rolling, we always teach this person on top to have their hands in the hips. We're going to also show drills that's going to make this movement easier for students, but we're going to be setting up our Kimura from guard. So this is going to be 2 motions. I'm going to be bringing my knees forward to try to break his posture. So I'm keeping my guard closed, and I'm bringing my knees forward. But at the same time, I'm going to bring my hands together, and I'm going to push his wrist out. So I need a wrist to do the Kimura, and I really need his posture broke too. So at the same time, I'm going to push his wrist out as I bring my knees forward. Now from here, I can pick either side. I'm going to go to my right today. So my right hand, I've got my thumb tucked in. I'm going to grab his wrist. I'm going to open my guard and get on my elbow. I'm going over his arm, and I'm going to loop this around. I tell my kids it's like a vine. I loop my arm around like a vine, and I'm going to grab my own wrist. Again, thumb tucked in tight. This is called our super grip. Once I get the super grip, I'm going to fall to my back, throw my leg over the top of his back. This is posture control. His hand, I'm going to put it behind his back as well. A lot of times I tell kids it's like police officers putting their hands behind their back. Now from here, I'm keeping my super grip, and very slowly, I'm going to start to take his hand to his head. Very slowly, I start to lever that, and there's the tap. Different people have different shoulder flexibility. Mr. Bryan's shoulders are actually pretty tight. There's going to be some people who their hand's going to just keep coming, and you just slowly keep bringing it in that direction until they tap. So again, they're in the closed guard. I'm going to bring my hands in, and I'm going to push his wrist out as I bring my knees forward. Right here, grab the wrist. I'm going to sit up. I typically have to open my guard to do that. Wrapping around, getting my super grip. I'm going to fall to my back and put my leg and his hand behind the back. Now here, I'm gonna just start to raise. And I like to look the direction that I'm taking him. In this position, I typically like to be perpendicular with him, okay? So we're kind of making a plus sign here. So this is gonna be the best position to finish the Kimura. Now, he is going to do the Kimura leg grab defense. This is the most basic defense to the Kimura, okay? So I'm gonna do my move, and once I get this grip, he brings his knee up. He's gonna grab the inside of his thigh, and he's just gonna set his knee to the ground right there. So I cannot get this Kimura out from here, okay? It's a very, very good defense. I'm probably gonna have to give up and move to something else. So show that one more time. So I get my Kimura set up. He's just gonna lift his knee, grab the inside of his thigh, drop his knee. I cannot get that out now. One of the other submissions that we'll be doing from the guard is the guillotine choke. The Kimura and the guillotine, they're two of the most basic submissions from the guard. So I'll go ahead, start in the closed guard again. All of these subs are gonna start from the closed guard. We're gonna do the same setup as the Kimura. So I'm gonna bring him forward like this, and I'm actually gonna sit up, like a lot of our white belts know the sit-up sweep. I'm gonna sit up like I'm gonna do the sit-up sweep, and I'm gonna wrap my arm. Instead of going over the arm for the Kimura, I'm gonna go over his neck, all right? I'm bringing the ridge of my hand right here underneath. Now, I'm going to scoot back here. So I'm gonna put my foot on the mat and do a scoot and lock up. This hand's gonna come under and lock the grip. Now I'm gonna fall back and lock my legs. From here, I'm gonna stretch them apart. I'm gonna pull with my legs as I lift up with my hands. Right there, for a really fast tap. I wanna show you guys the grip. So this is gonna be coming around his head. This hand is gonna go right here, okay? And then I'm just gonna be cinching that in, pulling it up. Again. Closed guard, I come out, I sit up right here. Once I get this wrapped around, I'm gonna scoot back, I'm gonna close my guard and get my grip. From here, I'm gonna pull with my legs, pull with my hands. He's gonna do the defense now, which is actually going to be a choke. He's gonna choke me instead of me choking him. We call this the shoulder choke. It's also throughout like the MMA community called the Von Flue choke. So, get my guard. His hands are in my hips. I push this out. I sit up in the guillotine. I scoot back. When I do that, he's wrapping his arm around me. From here, he's gonna take his hand all the way to the far side. He's gonna start pushing his shoulder into me. He's going to be tripoding, so really putting all of his weight on his shoulder, which is in my neck. So, I sit up for the guillotine. He's already wrapping that arm around, trying to get his hand all the way to this far side. Now, when I go down, he's gonna bring his butt in the air, and he's gonna really be driving his shoulder into my neck. Here's the tap. So this is block 6, attacks from the guard and the defenses for the yellow and orange belts.